They don't have a clue. They really don't. It's their policies have been irrational. They've been illogical. They've been inflationary. They've been regressive. They've literally pummeled the people they claim to support, the vulnerable, the low income folks. Those are the folks living paycheck to paycheck, suffering the most with this record high inflation. So they've spin us into a record inflation. They've taxed us into a recession. They've regulated us out of energy independence, and they've trapped people in poverty and dependence on the government by removing reasonable work incentives for able-bodied adults and paying people, literally paying them more to stay at home than to go to work. And it's no wonder why we have an economic disaster in this country. I think it's already been noted, the contrast of our current economic situation because of the policies of our Democrat colleagues with freedom. Freedom, John, there is no greater force in all of human history to unlock and unleash human potential, to unlock and unleash economic growth and prosperity like freedom, free markets, the free enterprise system, and you are an example of that. But we have seen the contrast in this recent 2 years, and it's just quenching the American spirit and the free enterprise system. And you've articulated that very well. Let me focus in on a couple of things. I'm carrying the full expensing made permanent bonus depreciation. You mentioned that earlier. What would happen? I've got two questions. Let me ask this one, and then I want to get to a labor question. What would happen? I mean, I get the tax policy experts saying we grow a whole entire GDP percentage point, some $275 billion in growth, some 170,000 jobs. But tell me how it would play out in a manufacturing operation like yours if we gave you the certainty to lock in capital expensing, bonus depreciation, and not let it phase out, but just make it permanent, a permanent fixture.
Sure. Well, I mean, what would happen, I guess, in short, the answer is growth, right? I mean, again, I've already mentioned that, in our business, I'm considered pretty progressive in terms of the application of technology to help workers, do their job. But, I think in many respects, I think I've got one of the coolest jobs in the world, right? My job is to help my employees get whatever they need to do what they need to do and then just get out of the way. And with that, certainty is the big part of that. With certainty, then, we can really plan and put together a plan for growth that can get us from that, 143 million in sales to hopefully, as Mike said, someday maybe 300 million or whatever the number is. And the other thing is, I want to continue this trend where, my dad started it. He's got a big heart. I like to think that I got a big heart too. As we see businesses in our industry that might otherwise go by the wayside, whether because they don't have a good succession plan or others, we can buy and invest for job security for their employees, as well. So I think that's a very high level of what it is, but certainly growth, certainty is an important, very important part of that. I mean, that's why we have so many issues in various parts of our economy, is just because of uncertainty, right?
Well, I appreciate the response, and I don't want to cut into my colleague's time on the labor question, but it seems to me pretty ironic and certainly something for the American people to take note of is that our free market policies, pro-growth policies, less government, more freedom, created a situation where people's real wages and family income grew by about $5,000 a year. And now, with all of this big government interventionist policies, in the middle of a recession, by the way, including new taxes, has made real wages drop by $5,000. And here's their answer. Let's just pummel the American people more, and let's try to solve this inflation problem with higher interest rates. Let's try to reduce the growth of our economy instead of enhancing and letting loose the supply side with folks like you, with policies like full expensing made permanent. Mr. Chairman, thanks for the indulgence. I yield back. God bless you, John.